All right, time for a look at some recent curling scores, and what a couple of weeks it has been for Winnipeg's Reid Carruthers team. First, they make it to the finals of the direct horizontal drilling fall classic, only to lose in an extra end to Steve Laycock. But then, you saw it here on Shaw TV, the Carruthers team victorious at the Canadiens Men's Classic in Portage la Prairie, defeating Alberta's Charlie Thomas in the final. With those results, Carruthers moves up to third on the World Curling Tour money list. On the Manitoba Men's Tour, it was the Braden Calvert team winning the Man Curl Classic at the Thistle October 7th to 10th, defeating Richard Montaigne in the final. Looking at the Manitoba Tour standings, the Canadiens Men's Classic was also an MCT event. So Carruthers' win there jumps them to the top of the standings, well ahead of the Bond brothers. Over on the Women's World Curling Tour and at the Autumn Gold Curling Classic, a great weekend for Team Jennifer Jones of Winnipeg as they made it all the way to the final but lost to Alberta's Casey Scheidegger. Good showings as well for Winnipeg rink Shannon Burchard and Brianne Miller, Miller making the semis and Burchard reaching the quarters. So we take a look at the updated World Curling Tour money list. And on the Manitoba Women's Tour at the Atkins Curling Supplies Classic at the Assiniboine Memorial, it was the Beth Peterson team defeating Darcy Robertson's team in the final. That puts Peterson on top of the women's standings. And on the Manitoba Junior Tours, wins for JT Ryan on the men's side and Christine McKay on the women's side at the Stonewall Junior Classic puts them both at the top of their respective standings. And finally, at the Neil Andrews Legends Classic in Brandon, Delorain's Murray Warren team was victorious, and they earn a berth into the Senior Men's Provincial Championship in February. Coming up now on Hurry Hard, more from the Assiniboine Memorial Curling Club. Welcome back to Hurry Hard. Joining me now, longtime skip of the Canadian wheelchair curling team, Jim Armstrong. And Jim, you're not currently skip now. You're going to be trying out for skip. But you bring a lot of experience to this team. How long have you been with the team for, and how did you get involved?
Well, actually, it was back 2006, 2007. I was approached by a dear friend of mine who's with the Canadian Curling Association at that time, Curling Canada now, Jerry Peckham. And he knew I'd had some physical issues mobility issues over the last number of years, and asked me how I felt about maybe having an opportunity to get back into curling. And curling had always been a huge part of my life, more than I'd care to even comment on. But with one of a number of car accidents and ongoing mobility issues, I ultimately had to give up the able-bodied game and around about 2000, and it just left a huge void in my life for me and my family. So that started in 2007 for me. I worked on ice more as a consultant through to 2008, where I was medically approved to play, and so then I wound up skipping in 2009 up to present.
So since you've joined the team, multiple world championships, multiple gold medals at the Paralympics, what are some of your best memories being part of this team?
Oh, by far and away, the biggest thrill had to be playing in the Paralympics in 2010 in Vancouver. I often say that all the stars had to align for you to be playing at home, then as a favorite even. It was a real thrill. It was great for the Paralympic movement. Vancouver really embraced the whole Paralympics, and I really think that benchmarked the start of Paralympics where we're starting to see it now.
Right. You were actually a member of teams that went to 5 Briers back in the 70s and the 80s, including a team that lost in the final, the 87 Brier to Russ Howard. Do I get that right? What are some of your Brier memories?
It wasn't losing to Russ Howard.
Okay.
Wasn't my best, but it certainly was one of my notable Brier memories. We had a pretty good run over the years. Coming from BC, we don't have the depth of competition, and not many teams traveled back in those days as we see in today's competitive world. But it was a thrill. Always getting to a Brier was a thrill back then.
You're here in Winnipeg, of course, as part of the Canadian Wheelchair Curling Training Camp. Your coach mentioned that the team's had some maybe struggles in recent years. How do you think the team is shaping up as you head into this year's Worlds and then the Paralympics now coming up in a couple of years?
Well, we certainly from my early experience from 2009 on, we were kind of fortunate. We kind of literally owned the podium. What we truly have seen in the last 3 or 4 years, certainly post Sochi in 2014, is there internationally there's a lot of teams that have been playing catch up and done very well at it, to the point that we've had to rethink our game strategically and technically, and that's where we are right now. We're in a transition, and rather than the rest of the world catching us, we're trying to now catch up to them again, and it's all very healthy. So it's back to us. We're going to have to work a little harder. We're seeing it out here. We're spending a lot more time on the technical aspects of the game. Any game that you're throwing with a utensil, there's always ways you can look to improve. So that's what we're in the process of right now.
All right, well, all the best to you and the team, Jim Armstrong. Thank you so much for joining us. Coming up next on Hurry Hard, we look at what's coming up in the curling world.
On the Women's World Curling Tour, Portage La Prairie hosts the Canadiens Classic October 21st to 24th. You can catch the final on Shaw TV on October 24th at 6 p.m. On the men's tour, the Challenge de Curling du Gatineau in Quebec goes October 19th to the 23rd, and the Medicine Hat Charity Classic in Alberta is October 21st to 23rd. And then, for both the men and women, it's the first Pinty's Grand Slam of Curling event this year, the WFG Masters in Okotoks, Alberta, October 25th to 30th, featuring the world's best curlers, including 2 women's Manitoba teams skipped by Jennifer Jones and Carrie Anerson, and 2 Manitoba men's teams skipped by Mike McEwen and Reed Carruthers. On the Manitoba Tours, a berth in the Men's Provincial Viterra Championships is on the line in Virden, October 28th to 30th, in a fall berth bonspiel. The Junior Tour heads to Stonewall October 20th to 23rd for the Canola Junior Early Bird Berth Bonspiel, and then to Winkler October 28th to 30th for the Quality Inn Winkler MJCT Junior Curling Classic. And finally, another berth in the Senior Men's Provincials is on the line at the Granite on October 28th to 30th. We'll be right back on Hurry Hard.